Okay, so I did the Grace Year analysis, and starting off with Kim Leggett, she was originally from the Midwest, but she moved away to New York at age 16, where she wanted to pursue her music career. And I think that the age 16 is very important to the story, because that's kind of like how she based this book off of the sexism in women at this age. She attended American Academy of Dramatic Arts. She's a woman of many talents. She's a musician, entrepreneur, and an author. She now lives in Los Angeles in a house with red roses in front of it, which is also another very important detail of the story. So this book type is a dystopian fiction novel, and I never really go for these, but I'm really excited that I did because it's really good. Okay, the main characters I think are super important in this book are Tyranny, Riker, and Gertie. First, we have Tyranny. She's our 16-year-old main character who's very independent, and she's questioning her role in society. Next, we have Riker. Riker is Tyranny's love interest / savior. He is for real, not like the other boys. He was the poacher who saved her and helped her realize that not all poachers are bad, and some people are just doing this for their livelihood. And he kind of worked with, I'm kind of unclear of this, but he kind of worked with her dad, I think, and made sure that she was safe throughout her whole Grace Year. And then Gertie, she's Tyranny's ally, she kind of flips, but she helps her see things from a new perspective. So here's the plot. Tyranny was set off to the Grace Year at age 16 to release her magic. They will get married after camp if they're chosen, or they will be sent to work, go to the fields if they're not. But that's only if they're lucky. You could be poached, which is worst case scenario, and be cut up and eaten. The camp is a real struggle, and it's basically the survival of the fittest. Tyranny, our main character, realizes that it's not so much about getting rid of the magic, but more controlling women. She realizes that this camp is just turning against each other for the men to stay in power, and forms alliances with some of the girls in the camp. She meets Riker, who saves her. He also helps her change her perspective on how women are treating. And in the end, she finds her voice, and she realizes that she will no longer be silenced. She finds out a lot of things throughout the way, and there's so many more plot twists that you really wouldn't expect coming. But I don't think I'm supposed to give spoilers, so I'm not gonna. I don't know. Theme. The Grace Year focuses on oppression, where girls are forced to suppress their inner strength, have their freedom stripped away, and are made to believe that their own power is something to fear. Setting is very important in this story, because it really wouldn't be, the story wouldn't be to the gravity of the situation that it is if they weren't out in this camp. This camp is literally mentally, physically draining and exhausting. It is meant for the girls to be torn down. This camp is obviously not really to get rid of magic. It's just to make sure that the girls feel worthless, they're drained, they're broken, so that way they come back, and if they're getting off to be married, then they feel like their purpose is having these children, kind of. But they're very more easily manipulated when they're coming back. So symbols, I kind of just explained this a little bit, actually. The first big one, I feel like these are both obvious, they're very obvious, but they're very important. The story wouldn't be the story without them. The girl's magic is a symbol of women's potential and strength before being ruined by the camp. The men are scared what the women are able to accomplish. So if they didn't put these girls in these camps, maybe they would not be broken. They would decide to find their voice, speak out, realize that their whole lives don't revolve around having children for these men. The red rose symbolizes adulthood and menstruation. I don't know, that's what I personally thought, but I kind of saw some differing, what people think. someone said that it kind of also like is an alliance, which I can see, but for me, I thought menstruation was really important because once you're able to menstruate, you are able to have children, and in that society, that's all women are. That's all they are good for, is having children. So I thought that that's super important. My personal reflection of this book is I liked it. I give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I think it did a good job touching on women's freedom and sexuality. How women don't have full control over their bodies, and that is big. That relates to real world problems today, such as like the abortion topic, which I know a lot of states, like, they don't give women the full control of their bodies anymore. And that's obviously something that is very hard for people. I also thought it touched on religious aspects. I said more of that in my written artifacts, but it definitely, you can really get the religious aspect and the purity and like the sexual desires, and like you can feel the shame almost. I thought that these characters were deep and felt very real. I don't think they felt superficial. You didn't read it and like think like, oh, that's obviously like something in a book, you know what I mean? It's a 4 out of 5 stars though, in my opinion, because I thought it was a little slow moving, but this is also because I'm a very impatient person. So I think the message though that's being relayed is way more important than how fast or slow paced the book was. This is my poem. It's A Woman Speaks by Audre Lorde. I'm not gonna read it, but this is like why I think they work so well together. Like, I'll give you one example. It says, I am not free as long as one woman is chained. So I said that this kind of relates to how life could be in the Grace Year Society if women thought this way, that they'd be able to work together instead of against each other, and they can have their freedoms by uniting a combined power, that women would be unstoppable. And by showing that they're together, they'll be stronger when they face the world and these issues than when they just go and get married off or they go work in the fields. And then this is my works cited, and then if you're watching this and you haven't found my doc yet, I put it right here. I think that that's a bad spot for it now, but yeah.